when someone says something bad, it means you're onto something. If it makes you feel sad, then you need to change your mentality where it's not affecting you. It's terrible to be arrogant, but there's also a level where men have to know themselves.
Our guest today is none other than the one and only Ish Everything. Someone who I have been waiting to talk to for a very, very long time.
A few people, like friends of mine, they were like, oh, you have to pick a niche. You can't just do everything. And I was like, I will make myself like the person that can do everything. Allah wants you to really be out of your comfort zone, because that's the only way He can show you that He's capable of your miracle. If you don't try, you will never know. So you have to try.
If you weren't doing what you're doing and you could choose whatever you want and it could be as evil as it gets, what would it be?
Prime Minister. I say that there's only 2 genders.
Before we begin though, I have one small favor to ask. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because your subscription is the motivation that we need to keep our journey moving forward. Without any further ado, Ish Everything.
Go.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Ish Everything.
Wa alaikum salam. My name is Ismail though. We have to go on a first name basis now.
Exactly, brother Ismail. Assalamu alaikum. Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
It was yesterday, Eid. How are you feeling?
Today I feel a bit under the weather, man. I feel like I need some more sleep. I need to fuel up my body a bit. I haven't really ate. I'm still like, not fasting, but I just haven't ate, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to have buddies after.
Inshallah, we'll go downstairs and we'll munch on some buddies. But unfortunately, I probably can't join you because I'm fasting. But I'll join you still.
How?
I'll watch you eat.
But by the time this finishes, probably iftar time anyway.
Yeah, almost. You know what? I'll probably join.
Inshallah.
Now, my famous question. What is your greatest fear?
My greatest fear is dying and Allah being not pleased with me. Yeah. I don't think I'm not fearful of much else. Like over the times I've gotten older and dealt with life, there's so many small things that I've been scared of and I've overcame. And then you realize that, and you know, people can talk a lot of bad things about you. You're not scared of that. I'm not scared of dying in a painful way, but I am scared of my soul returning back to Allah, and He's like, you've not done enough.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
It is a very, very scary subject, isn't it?
Yeah, but
dying.
Yeah, it is.
And meeting
really
your Lord.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, we should be looking forward to meeting Allah at the same time, you know, because those people that look forward to meeting Allah, Allah looks forward to meeting them. So there's a balance. You have to have the fear, but you have to look forward to the final destination.
Still such a scary thought. Imagine you go for driving lesson or something, or driving exam, and you don't pass, you go for another round. You go for another round.
Yeah.
Until you pass.
That's it.
But with this one, there is no coming back. When they lay you in that grave, man, you're not coming back.
That's why it's you know, like some of the commandments that Allah has given us, the things that He said, this is what you have to do. You can't beat around it. Like, it's not worth it, in my opinion. You know, there's obviously no one's perfect. I'm far from perfect, guys. Like, so far from perfect. But very conscious about what's right and what's wrong. Because you can't like, do you know what I mean? If Allah said this is right, this is the right thing. If He said no, that's completely forbidden, then it is forbidden. There's no question about it. So
SubhanAllah, mashallah. I mean, I watched another podcast of yours with another podcast, and mashallah, I learned quite a few things from you, and I was like, yo, that's so true, man. SubhanAllah. So are you naturally do you fear other things, or are you quite,
I think for sure, like I get nervous about stuff, but I'm someone that genuinely like tries to like whatever scares me, I try to go towards that. Like I don't try to run away from it, because I know that in that process I'll grow a lot, which has worked for everything I've done in my life. Like even big opportunities like hosting the Premier League, for example, that was something that I was very, very nervous about, because it's like before that I was just recording in my phone in my room by myself. Like, you know, people that usually start social media, they're kind of introverts. That's why they like to express themselves by themselves in their rooms. So I got this opportunity. Now it's like big cameras, like bigger than these cameras, and then so many people standing. There's like 30, 40 people standing behind the cameras, and you're having to speak to this high profile guest, and you can't say one word wrong, otherwise they can get pissed off and then leave. So many, so that was nervous for me. Like every single time, or the majority of the times when I went to these interviews, I was a bit nervous, but it's like I forced myself through it because you have to learn and grow. So now I've done that. Now it's easy. Do you know what I mean?
Alhamdulillah. When was this?
I don't even know. My timeline's all messed up. It was like last year or year and a half ago.
I mean, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, you know, I have to do the intro later on once you've left the room because it's so nerve-wracking, you know, talking in front of a camera.
Yeah, obviously there's stuff that I get nervous from, but I'm still like very like, I want to do it. Like whatever makes me nervous, I want to make sure I do it enough so I'm not nervous. Alhamdulillah. I'm definitely that type of guy. But yeah, man, fear, like we're talking about genuine, like, it affects me is that there's things that I am definitely not perfect with, and that, you know, like it might just not be enough for Allah. Like Allah is like, okay, you posted about Umrah and you took so many people inspired by it, but then your intention was it right? Do you know what I mean? Like there's so many things that you have to think about, and we have to constantly correct ourselves and ask for forgiveness for, you never know. Like the whole point of being a Muslim is to constantly live in, I need to do better. So yeah.
SubhanAllah, that is moving for me, because recently I done this azan as well, and I was like, yo, like I need to clear my intentions. I need to clarify. I need to clean it all up, because I am not doing for anybody. I'm doing it for Allah. And that's it. And Allah, please give me the ability to keep that intention clean and pure. Because let's face it, you know, once you start getting those likes and dopamine hits and engagements,
100%.
Although you don't want it to get to you, but indirectly it does get to you.
100%. Especially if you're like starting the journey. Like I feel like the more you do it and the more you've done it for a long time, you kind of get used to it a little bit. But yeah, especially when you're starting, for sure, like 100% gets to you without a doubt. It's natural. We're human, right? But and even in Jamaat, like I did Jamaat quite a few times. Like, you know, when you stay in a mosque overnight.
Tabligh Jamaat.
Yeah, exactly.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. So I've done that. I used to do that once a month. And then in there you learn like about intention and correcting your intention at the start of the action, correcting it during the action, and then the end of the action.
Amazing.
So intention, every action is based upon intention. So it's very important. Fear, that's where my fear comes.
Did you give those speeches in Jamaat, you know, when you have to stand up and talk about the 7 points or something?
Yeah, I've done 7 points, but only to my group. Do you know what I mean? Not the rest of the mosque. You know
Do you remember the 7 points?
No, it's been a while, man. Alhamdulillah. Like I've been going Umrah since I haven't done Jamaat.
MashaAllah.
So.
I mean, I've been to Jamaat a few times as well, but I've always made sure I stayed away.
I could probably try it. Do you know them? If you know them,
I don't know. But what's the first one?
I don't know in order, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, it slips your mind.
The oneness of Allah is one of them. The you know, La ilaha illallah.
Yeah.
Let me think. Dawah, is Dawah one of them? No?
I'm sure the viewers will correct us.
Someone in the comments, let us know what the 7 points is.
Yeah, it completely slipped, because every time the opportunity came, I made sure I stayed away from the opportunity because I am not a public speaking person. I cannot stand in front of people and just talk. Obviously, you said you don't fear failure. You run towards it and you want to conquer the failure.
100%. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I think that's a bit of me as well. I tend to do that, and not many people like that, because they want you to be in that safe zone and they don't want you to rock too many boats, and they want that stability. If you're around other people, they'll feel that instability as well, because you're doing unstable stuff.
To be honest, you're someone that actually inspired me when I was younger, which is nice that we're having this conversation now. With a program that was on TV.
Wow, you remember this?
Of course.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. And wallahi, this definitely inspired me when I was younger, because I saw this guy and he's so determined to do something, and people in the program thought he was crazy, and his determination to do something was like, I like that. Like it makes like that fits who I am. Do you know what I mean? So I remember this with Firnas. Genuinely, like
Mashallah.
years ago, I remember this, and thinking, wow, like that guy is amazing. Like his determination, he don't care about what anyone thinks. He's just got this goal and he just has to accomplish it.
Do you know what? What came out of this? It was just an idea. It was just a idea. And what I think motivated me more, and I think you'll probably relate to that because it seems like we're quite similar. The more people say no to you, the more you want to kind of proceed and you want to excel and you want to prove it
100%.
that no, I am capable and I can do it.
100,000,000%.
Subhanallah. And I think when people started saying to me, oh brother, mashallah, this, that, Channel 4 doc, blah, blah, blah. And that's when I think became a bit more complacent. What I'm used to hearing is where people say, no, you can't do it. Who are you? Who the hell do you think you are? You know, you're just some guy from Bangladesh and, you know, you barely have 4 perfume shops and you think you're going to launch an airline. My concept was, if I don't start now, I'm not going to have the energy later on. And I can see it now. I'm 38 and sometimes when I watch that documentary with my son, because he watches it almost every other day.
Wow.
And he told me, I'm proud of you, Dad.
Yeah, wow, that must be a nice feeling. And even like that documentary inspired someone like me years ago. I remember watching that before starting my whole journey and just seeing that. So it's like, maybe nothing came out of it for you, but there was things that are working behind the scenes that you're not aware of. And it's like Allah had to take you on that journey because you don't know how many people's lives you've affected.
Subhanallah, man. Do you know what? I do remind myself, I watch it again sometimes just because I feel like when I'm becoming complacent, I go back and watch it and I said, that was me. And I need to kind of take, 100%. Remember some of the stuff that I've been doing. Because I'm like, is this guy me? Like some of the crazy stuff that I've done, I'm like, yo, that's not me.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy.
So less about me. Now, aside from making videos, what else do you do?
That's a good question. Majority of my time is making videos, building relationships. So, there's things that I'd prefer not to speak about directly on camera. But yeah, like people think like making videos is me getting my camera out or using a camera like this and then, editing it and then posting it. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, especially when you're working with different brands, when you're working with platforms directly like TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram. There's a lot of communications and there's also a lot of money involved. So when there's a lot of money and, it requires relationships and stuff, there's a lot of time that goes into maintaining these relationships and, making sure people are happy, etc. So, yeah, it's very difficult to answer what I do, but predominantly make videos and then all the behind the scenes stuff that's to do with the videos.
MashaAllah. I mean, that is... I think, who was it that said recently? Someone said to me, like, me going somewhere, traveling somewhere is actually work as well because I'm not really enjoying the experience. Although I'm tasting the food, but I'm not really enjoying it.
Who told you this?
One lady who came on our podcast and she said, look, I'm a producer and I do all of these videos. I go to different countries. People think I'm loving it, I'm enjoying it, but in reality, I'm under pressure.
Whoever said that is spot on. There's times where like I've had to film abroad and stuff and it's just, it ruins my experience completely. Like I'm someone that actually likes to stay away from my phone and just live in the moment. But there's obviously times where, you have to make videos, etc., because it's your job and it's like ruining what could be just a relaxed time. And, especially if you're working with brands, they expect the video quality to be X amount and then you have to produce them a video that's X amount and when you're just meant to be enjoying your time. But obviously, I'm not complaining because I'm very, very grateful for this position. That's something I've always wanted to do, alhamdulillah. Especially like being able to like reach so many different people and actually make them essentially see Islam through a worldly life, like, which is kind of my goal.
Everything. Where does that come from?
I was sat in my bedroom and I knew now at this point, I was probably about, I don't know how old, it was like 18 or something. And I knew now, the backstory to that is like, I was working and then I had like loads of friends and I was meeting a lot of different people. And then when I used to say stuff, they used to be like, yeah, that's true. So I realized that I've got knowledge that people agree with. That's the start of it. And then I was like, okay, cool. I want to be able to like share a bit more to the world and I'm kind of ready to take that step. So I was thinking it's vlogs, but I don't want to just do vlogs. Ish talks. I don't want to just do talks. Do you know what I mean? Like I might want to do like funny videos. So then I was just thinking like I can do everything. I can literally just make myself the niche and not have to go into a specific niche. So I made Ish everything. And I remember when I did that, there was a few people, like friends of mine, they were like, oh, you have to pick a niche. Like you have to, if you're going to do cooking videos, you have to just do cooking videos or food videos. You can't just do everything. And I was like, I will make myself like the person that can do everything. And like people can recognize that. So alhamdulillah, like that.
So does algorithm, because I was of the same concept or belief that you have to have a niche, and the algorithm picks up on your niche and it positions you in a certain placement. But how does it work with yours? Or is it completely nonsense, this algorithm stuff?
No, it definitely is true to some extent. But also like I have been doing this for a very long time. So, like it's like a snowball effect. I'm sure with your businesses. Like it starts off like small.
£30 first ever trade.
Yeah, basically. Exactly.
Subhanallah.
And then it gets to, with the algorithm just as works in your favor, the more you like feed the beast. Like the platform is a beast and it could change your life, but you have to feed it every day. Like constantly feed it, and also have the mentality that next post could be Allah's miracle for me. That was like my mentality for every single video when I used to start, because I used to be like, this one's a miracle. And my friends used to think I was crazy. I swear down, my friends used to think I was crazy, because they'd be like, oh, Ish thinks everything's a miracle, everything's a miracle. But I used to be like, watch, the next one is going to be the miracle. Watch, the next one's going to be the miracle. And Allah works in your favor, like when you recognize that He's a part of all the processes.
Do you feel like, when you put so much effort behind a video and you think, what, this should do well, and then it doesn't?
Yeah. Oh, of course. That's normal. Every video creator experiences that for sure.
And the ones that you haven't really put too much effort in, like, you probably wouldn't do well, and then that one blows up suddenly.
But that's why it's like with experience, and when you do this for a long time, you understand that like just post constantly. Post just 3 videos today, and then 3 videos tomorrow. If one of them blows up, great. If none of them blows up, you still have 3 more videos to post the next day. Like on a daily thing where you're just constantly feeding the beast.
That is a lot of work, man.
It is. Like people don't understand at home. It's a lot of work, innit? It is. But
editing those videos is painstaking. I mean, obviously you get used to it after a while, but still, like, sequencing, and then sometimes it goes wrong, and then you have to edit
your videos.
Yeah.
Really?
not the podcast ones. Man, those ones I can't do. There's too many of them.
Okay, cool.
But sometimes I do for my personal stuff.
Okay, yeah.
I know how to do it, but it's just I wouldn't want to do it. Yeah, it's just a bit long.
If I had a podcast, I wouldn't want to do it either.
Yeah, no, it's so long. Now, where did you grow up?
East London, Beckton, East Ham.
Is it?
Yeah.
What made me think you were somewhere from North London or something?
No. I'm from East, man. Born and bred. Newham boy.
No way.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just had that imagination, like issues from North London or something.
East, man. From the gutter.
Where are you from? I mean, originally.
India. I'm Gujarati.
Oh my God. I thought you were like, Turkish or something.
No, really?
I don't know. Like, did you never get told like...
Yeah, obviously I get told, but I thought you'd know.
Nah.
I'm Gujarati. I'm Indian, Asian.
Whoa.
We have very similar home foods.
Mashallah. So, your full name, obviously I'm not going to mention the full name. It didn't, to me it didn't sound like, I think that's what made me think.
Really? Okay, maybe it's my last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, my last name for people that are watching is Ugrada.
Yeah. I know, it just sounds a bit Turkishy.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pin down where that's from. It's not typical Patel, like. Do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I am basically
Ismail Patel.
I'm there in it.
What business industry do you find most attractive?
Oh, this is a good question. I'm probably the complete opposite to you. What I find the most attractive is what can make me the most money and is the easiest. So online businesses for me is definitely like the win, I think.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? I mean, especially with the platform that you have and the skills and the knowledge you have, you could probably copy and paste your strategies and knowledge to pretty much
definitely. I am extremely selective about what I give my time to. I think time is the most important currency.
100%.
Like once time goes, you're never getting that back. But, you know, you can lose £500,000, but make that back in a few months if you really worked hard. But time, once it's gone, it is gone. So I listen to a lot of successful people like yourself when I was growing up.
I'm not a successful person, but I'm trying.
We're all trying. But it's all these people, the people that I really looked up to, the very wealthy people, and, you know, the people that had a lot of wisdom, they all said time, once you lose that, you'll never get that back.
No refund or exchange, my friend.
That's time and nothing else. With money, it's just, it comes, goes. It's like a heart monitor.
Yeah.
But yeah, time is something that I value a lot. So I'm very, very selective about what I give my time to. There's a few ideas I've had in terms of businesses, like new ones that have just popped up in my head. Like I wanted to own a barber shop and then have like my TikTok barbers working. You know, I do a series that I go and cut my hair.
Yeah, that's sick, man.
Something like that. Or even wanted to do, I was thinking in my head, I don't know why this came to me randomly, but I was thinking it would be sick if I had like my own Sunnamusk scent.
That's an idea for sure.
Yeah, like my own, like my specific
signature,
signature scent where I could sell in collaboration with Sunnamusk.
Abid, if you're watching this,
Abid, shout at me. I'm ready for that, man. I was thinking, what can we call it? Like, scandalous.
Funny you mentioned scandalous. I mean, how do you deal with it? Do you get many online trolls for your work?
Yeah, of course. I think this is something that you have to accept that it's going to happen whether you like it or not. If this is the life that you want, you know, if you want to be successful, you can't control people.
Why, bro? Why? Like, it's like you would expect the hate to come from outside communities, but it's very funny when it's your own.
I again like to look at like the time of the prophets. So every single prophet that preached about Allah and his message, they got hated for it. Absolutely hated. And I'm not looking at like there's a comparison between us, but, you know, their lives are examples. You know, when you try to do good, there is going to be people that they're going to hate you for it. It's been like that from the beginning of time. And you have to do what the prophets did. You know, you trust Allah, you keep doing what you need to do and do your good works, and then Allah will provide for you a way.
SubhanAllah. Always. I mean, you don't need a scholar or anyone to gain knowledge from. I mean, I'm learning so much already.
Don't say that,
you just put everything in. You know, I agree with your friends, you know, how they said they can relate to a lot of the things that you said. And I can relate to exactly what you're saying, you know. If you're going to do something good, be ready to accept the hate.
You have to, yeah.
Can you control the hate? Can you say, look, you know, I'm going to be 110% clean and I'm going to make sure everything is above board and I'm not going to get hate for it?
You know, you could try your best to do what... You could be like the most purest... Like, there's nothing, no one can pick something from you, but they still will. And it's quicker if someone watching this wants to go on this journey and do something successful in their life. It's easier and quicker for you to accept and even look forward to it. Like, just do your work, and when someone says something bad, it means you're okay, you're onto something now, you've done something correct. And try to, like, you should have a mentality where anything negative is not negative, you know? If it makes you feel sad, then you need to change your mentality where it's not affecting you. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, you can't get to where you want to go to. You'll
100%.
just be...
You're just going to be down all the way.
All the time, yeah. Look at the biggest people, the people that I inspire to be like YouTubers like Chunks and whatnot. I've seen them get hate so many times, but they still do what they do and they've just accepted it. And I've seen it affect them every once in a while because they are human, like myself. But it's just, you have to deal with it.
Alhamdulillah. You've been to the US for a while. You stayed there for a while. I think when we were talking on LinkedIn, I think you were in USA at that time, or maybe you just returned.
Maybe.
What's the difference between the culture? I mean, between the UK and the USA?
Well, USA, that place is satanic, guys. That place is satanic. I don't like USA.
So you're saying UK is much better than...
I prefer UK, yeah, 100%.
Why do you say that? I mean, what we see, as soon as you step out the door, there's something wrong that you could potentially see if you don't, put your eyes down.
100%, but in the USA, that's where it started. Like, it began there, and then it came here. And they still have the OGs.
They're the masters.
Yeah, it's not like... obviously, don't get me wrong, when you're looking at business and stuff, it's a much larger area. So there's it's a much larger trading field.
Yeah.
It's like, there's like 48 UKs in the US.
Yeah.
So, of course, like if you're looking at trying to monetize, you've got like 48 times the UK of people to potentially sell to, for example. But when you're looking at it, like, would I live there? Definitely not. And especially for them, basically, being the main funders of what's going on in Palestine, etc. No, I even have bad feelings towards the UK for the same reason. And I would definitely look to move to somewhere in the Middle East, Arab country, if I can get the chance, inshallah.
Inshallah. Now, talking of Arab countries,
yeah.
I mean, where would you go? I mean, Saudi is probably up and coming at the moment, but the reality is, are they as bad as the UK, or are they just doing the dirty work of the UK?
We're talking politics now.
Yeah, man. I like that topic.
So
it interests me a lot.
It does interest me a lot as well. Saudi. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think no government is completely clean, where their hands are pure white. But and also we can't necessarily control the government, and we're never going to be able to get to the bottom of every single conspiracy, and it's a rabbit hole, and if you keep going, you'll keep going down and down and down. However, it would be lovely to be around Muslims, a lot of practicing Muslims.
That's true.
And hearing the adhan out loud.
That's true.
And focus on our business, what we can control.
100%.
And do our best in an environment like that, as opposed to an environment like here, where the country is directly funding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously UK is not really comparable considering they started this whole mess.
Yeah,
But yeah, any Muslim country where I'm hearing the adhan out loud and I'm seeing people flock towards the masjid 5 times a day, it would bring peace.
It's much better. It's much
it would
better
bring
than
peace to
exactly.
my soul. Like,
so when do you think you might move? Because I do have similar interests, to settle down either in my country, ultimately, or somewhere that's more Muslim.
I don't know, man. I really don't. It could be soon. It could be in a couple of years or 3 years.
I see a lot of influencers. They're doing that move. They're migrating. Dubai.
Yeah. I mean, it's alhamdulillah, like we're blessed to be able to have that freedom.
Yeah.
Very blessed. And especially if mainly influencers their businesses are completely online. So they can literally just pack up and move. Like, they don't have responsibilities like having a store over here. Or there's, so they're in a much more freedom position to be able to do stuff like that. But I don't know when. When Allah wills, when I get a sign, if I have a feeling and pray my istikhara, and it's the correct thing to do.
Talking of istikhara, that's a very important aspect. I mean, do you do that quite regularly?
I've started to, yeah.
MashaAllah. I mean, I think if anyone doesn't do istikhara, I think they're just missing out big time.
Oh, it's that prayer, guys. Miracles will happen.
It's like
istikhara.
a GPS satellite giving you all the information that you need to know. Like, it's of protecting you from bad.
But istikhara is a very, very special prayer. If you guys haven't prayed at home, please look into it. You will genuinely be guided into the right direction without you having to do anything but the istikhara prayer.
100%.
So yeah, it's helped me before, but I have now started to do it a bit more regularly.
Yeah, I do istikhara on big stuff, the stuff that really confuses me. But the daily stuff, obviously, you use your experience and knowledge and predictability to just get it done. If you have been enjoying today's episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and comment below if you have any questions or guest recommendations. Now let's get straight into the show. What was your first ever content?
My first ever video where I held a camera was when I went to Umrah. So I went with like random people.
When was that? Forgive me if I seem a bit
it's fine, it's fine.
uninformed.
5 years ago. No, it's
Okay.
fine. It makes the podcast better. So I went like 5 years ago, and I went with like random strangers at the time. They're complete strangers. And it was in me where it's like, I'm having the sign of like, I just feel like I need to vlog this because I'm going with strangers. I'm going on a very special journey. And I know I was extremely passionate about Islam, like extremely. And it's like, I know that there's going to be people out there that say what like my friends are saying now, like, yeah, it's true. You know, I was telling you, like a lot of people around me would say, yeah, it's true. So this kind of like pushed me because I was like, okay, cool. Like, and it was very scary for me because it's like a lot of people, I've never done the online stuff before, and going from not doing a regular topic, but going straight to, you know, the house of Allah is a lot of people would judge you for it. So yeah, it was a big step for me, but I that's why I feel like my journey is somewhat divine because it started from Allah's house. So whatever I do, I always go back there. Like, that was the first time.
Umrah. I mean, I think it's a very special thing to do. And, you know, when you go and ask Allah for help, I mean, maybe further down the line, maybe a few months down the line, you eventually see something happening.
SubhanAllah, yeah.
Do you see that happening to you as well?
Every single time I've gone. There's not once that I've been failed. That's why I like to go once, twice, 3 times a year sometimes.
Wow, mashallah,
Yeah.
mashallah.
Now,
Now,
and sorry to cut you off. I say to people like that, you know, see the things that I've got, and if they think there's nice things, they could be a lot better, but alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. I go to Umrah, I make dua, and then something happens. But my work is the same as yours, but something happens because I've gone to Allah, I've asked Him directly. So I think the things I have is from Allah.
so Umrah, you said you were very passionate. I mean, generally, was your upbringing quite Islamic?
Yes and no. Very normal. Like, you know, alhamdulillah, my parents, you know, they're practicing, but I'm a typical East London boy, like very, very typical East London boy. You know, I went to mosque 5 to 7, left a bit earlier than usual because I was just getting bored of it. And then, went on, did a lot of silly things with my friends growing up. Then I was always someone that always wanted to be a high achiever because I saw my dad, he has his own business, and like he used to come home with like making his own money and not having to be paid by someone else, like working. So this inspired me a lot. Like he was my hero growing up. So I knew that I wanted to achieve high. And when life wasn't really going my way and I was doing the silly things with my friends, that's when it's like I turned to Allah because it's like, Allah, I need your help now. Like, I'm going to stop. I'm going to try to listen to you as best as I can, and let's just see what happens. And then, everything changed from there.
So there's a difference between making content, making content before 2020 or 2018, because you were probably on one of the early ones to start.
Yeah.
And then there are those who are coming out new, like there's the UGCs and the content creators.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the difference in terms of times? Like, are they having it hard? Are they going to have it hard? You know, like when you go to driving lessons, you know, a driving test.
Yeah.
Now there's more to do. Like you have to do independent driving or something else.
I think there's 2 answers. I think one of the answers is a mentality thing, and then the second answer is the factual thing. So factually, it's obviously going to be harder because the market's getting more saturated every single day. But then the second answer for the mentality aspect is you can't even look at it like that. If you haven't started something, you have to start now. You can't waste time now because it's already saturated. Tomorrow it's going to be even more saturated. So you need to start today, like this minute. So there's those 2 answers.
So if someone wants to start on social media, assume I know nothing about social media, but I have an interest. I want to express myself. I'm introverted.
Yeah.
I want to express my views.
Yeah.
How would you advise me going about it now?
It's a good question too. I think I speak a lot about mentality because it does require a very strong mentality to put yourself out there and feel confident. But the first thing I'd say is if you don't try, you will never know. So you have to try. because you have to know whether something is for you or whether something isn't for you. You have to at least try. So that was a quote that helped me a lot when I started. It made me feel a bit comfortable with taking that step. If I kept telling myself, and my viewers know this as well, my old YouTube videos, if you don't try, you'll never know. If you don't try, you'll never know. Just try new things all the time. And then the second thing is analyze the market. Like be a consumer of content and enjoy content, and see what you can do and who you can replicate and change a little bit. Like a lot of my content when I started, I was just copying other people, but I was making it my own until I found my own feet. Do you know what I mean? So like have baby steps that you feel comfortable with. I think it's very important.
100%. I completely agree with you, because when we started this podcast as well, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, towards the end of the year, I still didn't know what I was doing. Beginning of the year, we started with a bit of controversy, and still assessing like, what works, what doesn't work, still experimenting different angles. If we didn't make that step, we wouldn't know. I mean, we wouldn't have had 36 episodes released.
Oh, alhamdulillah.
My biggest fear was, I'm going to stop, and I needed to make sure everything happens so I don't stop. So, we have to try. We have to take that first step. We can't talk about, 10 steps down the road. We have to start.
And as a Muslim, it's very important too. Like Allah wants you to take these steps. He wants you to be out of your comfort zone, because then that's the only way He can show you there's a miracle. Otherwise, how are you gonna even see a miracle if you don't try something new? If you live your day-to-day life, of course, there's some people out there, don't get me wrong, they're content and they enjoy their life and they have a good relationship with Allah, fair enough. But those people that really want to strive to better themselves and do something unique in the world, Allah wants you to really be out of your comfort zone, because that's the only way He can show you that He's capable of your miracle. Otherwise, you would never know.
Exactly, and otherwise He wouldn't have asked us to wake up for Fajr as well.
Exactly.
If He didn't want us to, be out of our comfort zone.
Exactly. Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to use that one.
Now, do you think the social media companies, they treat the business accounts differently as opposed to a person-based account?
Also a good question. I think, of course, there's some algorithm differences for sure, and I'm not an expert at all, but just with experience, I can answer it. There's algorithm differences for sure, but I'd say the personal accounts, they're just more relatable to people. So a lot of businesses, I know businesses that have amazing engagement and they've grown so much on social media, but I see a lot more with creators, because the audience want to feel like they have a friend, like they're relating to someone directly, or they're inspired by someone directly that maybe looks like them, or is from the same area as them. So yeah, I'd say that's probably the answer.
So imagine, I'm taking a bit of free advice here. Imagine Sunnamusk TikTok account.
Yeah.
How can we make it more personable? Like, how can it come across?
This one, I've spoken to Kazi about this. I spoke to Abid about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult because Sunnamusk is a very luxury brand. And with luxury brands, they don't usually have like that really personal element to it. So there has to be some kind of strategy to bridge the barrier between personal and the luxury. And the advice that I gave him is look at Represent as a company that I work with. And they've created like this series where they're going and really high-end vlogs of their behind the scenes and the banter in the office, and people feel like that way they can connect with the brand a lot more, etc. So that was like one idea that I gave him. But there's so many different ways, and obviously nothing's impossible, of course not. But it's trial and error. You just have to try new things and 100%. See what works. Try it and try again. Adjust.
What was one profound impact did Umrah leave on you after your first Umrah?
My first Umrah changed my entire life. Profound impact. You know what? Maybe the impact came a lot later, because, you know, I went to Umrah, and then I remember the guy, like I went in a group, of course, and the organizer of the group, like I remember I was sitting opposite him like this in his office, and he was basically wanting me to pay the deposit. And back then I had no money. So like, you know, I'm having to work for a month and then borrow some money from my mom. And he was like to me, he opened the calculator, and he was like, this is how much Umrah costs. And then he was like, times. And then he was like, this is what you'll see in your account.
Salesman and a half.
And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm giving my money to you right now. So, I paid, and then we went. And alhamdulillah, like the most beautiful experience. Like, it's very, very difficult for people to understand.
You
know?
can't describe it.
It's very hard to summarize it. And then I come back, and like my life is the exact same. If anything, things are going worse. And I'm like, what? This guy scammed me. Like, I'm just going through my cycles. And it was after some time, maybe like 8-9 months of continuing to work and on my craft after Umrah, where I'm seeing now my du'as are working. Like that thing that I prayed for just happened. Like, so the profound impact that I got is trusting the tawakkul. Like it happened eventually, and it was Allah's timing. Like it wasn't my timing. I couldn't dictate when I wanted a dua answered. It could have been terrible for me. I might have not been ready to receive those blessings. Allah had to prepare me for it. So the having the tawakkul, having that absolute certainty that what Allah has in store for you is genuinely the best for you, and not even your own parents want the best for you the way Allah does. So having that trust in Him and you know, doing what He wants you to do, just carry on being out your comfort zone. Your life is just, it's...
What was your first job?
This is my first ever job. I was doing property lets, commission only. So that's where I became a bit more confident and very out of my comfort zone and hungry for success, because it's like it was commission only. So like the only way I could make money is if I did that deal. So yeah, that was my first ever job.
How long did it take for you to close your first deal? Since you
maybe like 3 months, 3.5.
Wow, that's a lot of perseverance, man.
Yeah, and I'm working every day, Saturday, Sunday too. And it wasn't in East London, just East London. It was everywhere. So I was traveling everywhere to try to do these deals. And I remember like, you know, feeling down, so down some days. And you know, it's funny. Like I remember, I don't know who this guy was, but I remember coming on my way home, and I was speaking to a random guy on the train, and, you know, he was asking me about my job and whatnot. And I said, yeah, like I haven't done any deals and whatnot. And he was like this old wise man. It's like in the movies, but I can't even remember his face. And he was like, trust me, once you get the first one, then they'll all come thick and fast. You just have to just work for just the one. And then it did something to me. I was like, okay, cool, I'm just going to get the first one. And it's like with anything in life, once you do something once, then it comes easy. But you have to work so hard for you to just get that first thing that you're working for.
So true, so true. And do you sometimes feel like, you know, once you've done something once, then you feel like you kind of expect it to happen again. So if you've hit 1 million views on one video, then you kind of, your benchmark goes all the way to 1 million. Now you think about that million views on your next videos and next content.
And that's why your life goes like that, because it's like your expectations have changed. Do you know what I mean? Like your boundaries and your standards have gone up, and they keep going up and up and up. And I look at footballers, like I'm a massive football fan, and I look at like Messi and Ronaldo, and if they don't win any trophies, but you know they've got the most goals, and like if they don't win any club trophies, they've had a terrible season. But someone, you know, like a younger player could score the most goals and he's had the best season of his whole life. But the reason is the best players, they have higher standards for themselves than everyone else. So if you get somewhere, you have to keep that. That's my benchmark. I need to get there again and more, and constantly just keep going and going and going.
Where did that tipping point happen where you felt, you know what, I'm grinding in the social media scene, and then now I'm like kind of in that cruising altitude mode where I'm like kind of level up a bit?
I think it's happened at like different points. So like it happened probably when I hit like 300k and I had like loads of videos go viral, and I went from like 300 to 500k. I'm like, whoa. And then I felt like, yeah, this is a level up. And then from 500k to 700k, and then around 700k is like where Premier League came in. And then when Premier League came in, that for me is like solidifying the cruising mode. And then Premier League left, and now I'm like stepping up again from 700 to like 1.5, and now it just keeps going up. So it's like, I don't necessarily know exactly when. I can tell you like mini series that happened, like when I did bare minimum tips. I don't know if you remember this. Like I was giving like men bare minimum tips, and I was making it a bit jokey, like saying silly things in the tip sometimes. It's like, even now I might find a new series tomorrow that could take me to 2.5 million. So then it's like another point. The whole point is like you have to constantly find like a new stairs, like where you can climb up something, and then that's your level.
Wow. What bare minimum tip would you give me?
Try to do the intro in front of your guest.
You know what? I think that's the next step, you know, to just go in. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
We all like, sometimes we when we introduce ourselves, we say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, you know, I've achieved such and such. It's always around that line. But when we're kind of in our bedroom corner and we're talking to ourselves, what do you say to yourself? Like, you know, I'm nothing, or I'm this, or like...
No, definitely not. I think this is a fine line between like dunya and then world, Allah's rules. I think it's terrible to be arrogant, but there's also a level where men have to know themselves. Like, I am capable of that, and Allah's helped me get there. But you have to understand, I'm a man, I did this. I can do something else, because there's no one to really tell us these things. We have to remind ourselves and look in the mirror and know that I am the shit. Like, I did that. And you have to have this level and this aura about you. You know, I look at, again, footballers, and they have that aura and that confidence that, you know, they can go somewhere and they can perform. It's very important to like have that. So I don't doubt myself anymore. I think I'm capable of whatever I put my mind to. And again, like, I have to give credit to my father. He definitely instilled that in me from a very young age. Like, he used to say to me, like, when I was a kid, like, if I want to go to the moon and I really want to do it, I'll get there. And it did something to my mind. Like, my dad, he can do anything. So yeah, it definitely was.
MashaAllah, I mean, you're blessed to have a father like yours.
Yeah,
because not many in our communities, generally we I mean, probably for the right reasons, we push people towards a certain direction, you know, do this, do that, and then you'll be okay. Probably because they've had the life that they lived in a certain way, and it was more about stability, and it was more about consistency. Get a job, get an education, and you know, you're good.
Yeah.
But I think there has to be a balance as well, where you don't want to bring someone down or the confidence down. And I think it does happen in our community where we're very dismissive of ourselves.
100%, I agree. I mean, it's not like my dad was perfect in that sense, but I think what he did, like, my dad always says, like, I know you better than you know yourself. And I don't like when he says that, but he still believes that truly. And there's things that he's done that's annoyed me so much. It's like he's made me want to prove him wrong. And that's helped me. So like, there's times where, you know, I've gone to the gym for a while and then maybe I've stopped because, you know, I got lazy. So he'll be like, you look skinny. And it's like, now you've just annoyed me, I have to get back in the gym. So he does things to like, he's like a football manager, like where he'll
trigger your thinking.
He will trigger my thinking, which will give me action. So yeah, like, again, I give a lot of credit to him. And it took me a long time to understand this. Like, I'm 25 now. It's only recently where like I really understood my dad's impact on my life and how important he is. Like, my mum is she's the same in terms of a traditional role, like extremely emotional and like looks after my emotions and makes sure that, you know, my clothes are not creased before I walk out, and I'm eating well. And if I'm ill, she's like, oh, you need to have this medicine. Like that's my mum. Alhamdulillah. My dad he makes me think, like, and we used to play chess a lot when I was a kid. So my dad, like, he had his ways of, you know, like teaching me to think outside the box and not think like the regular person. So I've given a lot of credit to my dad.
Are you the only son or?
No, I have one brother.
MashaAllah. And the wider, I mean, look, when you're trying to do something different, there's always, you know, when you get into family gatherings, you know, there's mixed conversations. It can't be always, you know, Ish, you've done it, you smashed it, man, you know, well done, blah, blah, blah. Maybe on your face, but probably behind your face is something else.
Of course.
Did you ever sense anything?
100%. Again, like, it's just, you just get used to it. Like, I know that my intention is good in terms of, like, I know, inshallah, with me correcting my intentions multiple times, like Allah will look at me and think, like, so many people like came to Umrah because of you, or so many people maybe started praying because of you, and this is what I really hope for. And it's like, if people are like talking bad about me behind my back, you're giving me good deeds, innit? So I need you to continue.
Imagine you're 80 now, and you know, you're towards the end of your life. Inshallah, if we make it till then, what would you want to be known by? I mean, what do you want people to know you as?
Like, I think about this a lot, but I don't necessarily think make it to 80. I think, let's just say I died tomorrow. What would happen? And I really, really hope, that people like see me as someone that has tried to be as normal and as vulnerable to them as possible. But like, there's so many people that, because of the way I am and the way I have Allah in my mind and in the things I've accomplished, they see that as like, he helped me somehow. And that's why I want to be at his funeral. Because like, maybe I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't watch his videos or something. That's what I think of. And alhamdulillah, I think that if I die tomorrow, there's people out there that would think that.
Is there a part of you that enjoys attention?
This is a difficult question. If I'm being completely honest, are you asking right now or? Generally. If you're asking me right now, definitely not.
No.
Yeah, definitely not. But if you're asking when I first started, 100%. I wanted to feel like what I'm doing is working. Like, I wanted to be recognized by someone, or like, there was times where maybe the videos weren't doing too well, and it's like I would purposefully go out to a shopping center. I was like, is someone going to spot me? Is what I'm doing, am I getting the gratification for me to continue? Whereas now, you saw me talking to random people outside your shop downstairs. I didn't know who they were. They just watch my videos. I have that everywhere I go. Alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful. But once you've got something, you understand it's maybe exactly not what you wanted when you started, you know. So yeah, if you're asking me now, definitely not. If you're asking me when I first started, 100%.
Wow. Not many influencers are active on LinkedIn. I mean, you're quite active on LinkedIn. You respond to messages on LinkedIn as well. I'm a bit
not active at the moment, but something is very important.
Why is it so important?
If you have a successful LinkedIn profile, then you, by default, will have a lot of money. And that's the way I see it. Like, having clout and, followers on Instagram and TikTok, and it's all great. But if you have a successful LinkedIn profile and you can get it anywhere near your other profiles, social media profiles, you are generating and monetizing what you have without trying too hard. There's a lot of people, the decision makers that are on LinkedIn, and that's the people that you really need to be in front of, because they essentially make the decision to give you 15,000 for a video or put you in a campaign that flies you to America. The decision makers are on LinkedIn, constantly looking for people to connect with. Like, that's what LinkedIn is. Very powerful.
Have you had any experience where you thought, you know what, this platform is sick? Like, you know, because I've seen it with my own eyes, you know, what LinkedIn can do.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, it's got some of the old school algorithms going, where if you like something and it will tell your network that you've liked that, or if you've commented something, it will tell everyone. But the other social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, they've taken it all away.
Yeah. The algorithm on LinkedIn, it's like, I haven't assessed it. Like, I think you use it way more than I do. But every single time, well, not every single time, I need to use it more. But there's a lot of times where I've done certain deals or I've worked with big companies on some very important stuff. And I've just shared my experience working with that brand or that person on LinkedIn, because then it allows other decision makers to see, okay, he can do that. Maybe he can do this too. That was my reasoning. And it's worked for me 100%. Like, I've made a lot of money from LinkedIn.
Alhamdulillah. Now,
Alhamdulillah.
You've got a very business mind. I can see that. I mean, you're very strategic. You know, you do your contents on one side, but on the other side, you've got your limited company. You've got the whole setup going.
Of course.
Not many creators do that. Why is it that they don't do it? Is it because they don't believe in themselves, or what?
I think, again, I have to give credit to my dad again. Like, he gave me a business mind from a very young age, because he threw me into the deep end. Like, he has a construction company and he made me run it when I was younger, and I hated it, but I learned a lot, which I learned later. And you know, I'm very grateful to be surrounded by family that have been very successful in business in America and over here. And you can turn an idea into something that generates you a lot of wealth if you strategize and you create a business. You know, I think having a business is very important. A lot of influencers, they don't understand it, because I started my business quite a while ago, so I wasn't even generating that much income for me to even have a business. But having a business, it's like it made me want to pursue it more, you know. And this is not the first business. I'd had a lot of failed businesses before.
I mean, it's those failures that really teach you the most valuable lessons, don't they?
100%.
What's next? I mean, what's the next big thing for Ish?
Sunnamusk X-ish everything. I'm joking.
Inshallah. You know what? You manifest it and you never know what happens, bro.
Exactly.
Trust me, be careful what you manifest as well these days.
100%.
Because these things happen.
100%.
If it's ingrained in your heart and your mind, and somehow, from somewhere, something happens, and then it just happens.
So like the next things, to continue what I'm doing, I want to make £1 million this year. I don't know how, guys. I'm nowhere near there. But again, manifesting and whatnot, I've done some crazy things I didn't think I would ever do in my life. So that's something that would be very nice. And there's a lot of people that have made a lot more than that have been in touch with me saying, like, come on, with your platform, I'll help you. That's a piece of cake. So inshallah, you never know. Just have to trust Allah. I'm going Umrah in a week or less than a week.
Oh, mashallah. You
now
really believe in Umrah and the power of it.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So I'm going Umrah next week. So I'm going to make some crazy du'as and you might see it happen.
So listen, I've got a son, yeah? He's 6 now. What do you suggest? What do you advise me to teach him? Because obviously he's exposed to business. He goes to the warehouse, buddies, downstairs. Wherever I'm going, he's going with me, and he's getting the first-hand experience. But what else can I teach him to get him prepared for, I don't know, what's going to be the next platform after TikTok? God knows what's going to happen. I mean, what can I teach him now to get him ready?
Man. I don't know. 6 years, I think, again, I think you do it anyway. You're someone that completely believes in what you do, and you think there's nothing impossible in this. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if he sees his dad as a real leader, as someone that's respected, how I felt about my dad, it's like you just want to be as much like them as possible. You don't need to be like someone you see on social media. I want to be like my dad. Like, that's kind of how I was growing up. Like, I saw my dad as genuinely like, that's my hero. My mom used to beat me up and I used to want my dad to be home so he can stop this. I don't think you need advice from me. I think I've never been a parent.
No, because you've been a child, and the way I'm looking at it is like, you're saying from a child's perspective what your dad taught you and what worked. So I'm trying to now.
I also think trusting him. My dad, there was times where I even like this social media stuff, like he didn't trust me at all when I first started. It helped me again because I needed to gain his trust. I needed to have some kind of success to show him, this does work. You can now trust me, which I did. So it's like, I don't know, maybe if he trusted me and supported me, would I have worked as hard? I don't know. Like, I can't give you the answer. Maybe if you trusted me, maybe it's like I got a bit complacent because my dad believes in me. I could take my time. He's on my side. But my dad was not on my side. So it's like, now I have to show you that you are wrong about this.
Did you ever get bullied in school? Or were you the bully?
No, I bullied a couple people in my life.
Do you want to say sorry to them?
Yeah, I apologize, man. But no, I didn't get bullied. To be honest, alhamdulillah, like, I was the kind of the cool person in school because I used to be with just the footballers. So they're still my friends now. The people, just football
They
crazy.
warrant a certain level of respect in the footballers.
Yeah. So that was like my group where like, we're just the footballer. And my brother, he's a completely like a football guy too. So he was with the football a lot too. So yeah, it wasn't bullied, but I did have severely bad acne growing up. So that was a very character building because I didn't want to leave my house at certain times. And you want to look good as a human being, you know, you want to look good and presentable. And I didn't. There's times where people pointed it out to me and even family pointed it out to me. So these things when I was younger helped me where I am now because I have to deal with criticism all the time and deal with people pointing things out at you that you can't really change. So yeah, like again, it's not nice to deal with, but very grateful for it. Allah's the best planner.
You seem to turn every negativity into positivity. I mean, something that I like to do as well. But not many people like it around me. Like, oh, why can't you just accept it was a failure and you flopped it and just accept it? It's a flop.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a failure. You know, if you've learned one lesson, maybe Allah had to take you through that entire journey for you to just learn this one thing. So there's absolutely no such thing as a failure. Like life is about the way you perceive it. You can perceive a rainy day as the best day ever because Allah is sending you rain and your du'as are accepted. Or you can be like, oh, my day is just raining, my clothes are going to get wet. As a Muslim, we've been taught to change everything into a positive. If I have a headache, right now my sins are being forgiven. You know, if I'm ill, my sins are being forgiven. But people, if they don't have that, what's the word? Stoicness.
Yeah, I was going to ask you stoicness because I discovered this stoicness stuff very recently.
It's amazing.
And it's like, wow, like, it's about calmness and, it's
understanding, stoicness is something that is very important and it's played a very important part on my journey, like remaining calm under pressure, understanding there's greater things at play that is not in our control, and not seeing something from an emotional lens, which a lot of humans and us tend to fall into, because there's nothing emotional, especially in business. There's no emotions in business. You have to see everything as a very calm, how can I navigate my situation in this?
Was there any point where you contemplated on quitting your journey because you faced some difficulties?
So no, someone else has asked me this question. I can't remember. I was on another podcast. Someone else asked me this question. No, so internally, never, because I'm not that type of guy. Like I know I want something, I want it. But externally, yes, I've said to someone, like I want to quit because I wanted some sympathy from them. I wanted them to tell me, no, you're doing really good. You don't need to quit. So like I knew by me saying, I'm trying to quit, like I would hear what I want to hear for me to continue. But internally, I knew that I would never give up. Like you can't just come this far to just come this far. Do you know what I mean? There's always one extra step and there's always something more to do.
So, if Allah said to you, Ish, you're going to die in 2 hours' time.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to message everyone on my contact list to forgive me, put out a video of me reciting Quran, and then asking everyone to forgive me. Look through my videos. It's been a long time, but I haven't posted music. But look through my videos, just see all the videos of music, get rid. And then so much dua, nafil salah. Yeah, I think I'll die chilling. I'll be happy with that death, bro. Like,
MashaAllah.
Yeah. Just,
being content and being ready is I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but
SubhanAllah.
It's something that makes me think a lot. Like, imagine I don't wake up tomorrow. Imagine I don't cross that road. Imagine, because that's how it usually happens, right? We have all these ideas and ambitions, but no guarantees.
Yeah, no guarantees at all. Well, no guarantees at all, by the way. Like, it's scary. It's a very scary thought, but, inshallah, Allah takes us when He's pleased with us. And yeah, man. And inshallah, we can leave, in our positions and impact on the world that He wants us to leave. So I think that's very important.
What do you think? How do you think we Muslims, what can we do to change our situation and our affairs?
I think, honestly, my genuine opinion on this, is the easiest thing you can do is a social media problem to just keep your negative opinions to yourself. I think that plays a part, absolutely no role in helping someone. I actually know like Muslims that have distanced themselves from Islam because of these comments and Muslim people. And it's very sad. And it's also like, it's very wrong, and you'll be questioned for it on the day of judgment. Like, you wrote out an entire hate comment, a negative comment, and decided to publish it to the world for everyone to see. It's the equivalent of making a video that's so hateful and posting it. It's like, it's so easy to avoid that sin and advise someone personally if you really feel such a strong way about it. I think it's obviously something that will never happen.
It will never happen, right?
It will never happen.
People go above and beyond to make multiple fake and ghost accounts to just comment. I'm like, bro, do you have that much time on your hand? Like, seriously?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's just, you just have to, like I said, like if someone's starting this journey, especially with social media, but it could be anything, literally anything. It could be doing a job maybe that your parents don't want you to do, or, starting a business. Every time you do something where your passion is there, you're going to have resistance, but you need the resistance to grow.
What is your favorite content creator?
Like, as in of all time, I'd probably say Chunks.
Nice. I like him too.
Yeah, I'd probably say Chunks.
Back to that question. If you were to die in 2 hours, what would be your final meal?
Dates and water. At least I
Keeping
can
it
get some
clean,
sunnah points before I go. Or Zamzam water. Zamzam
mashallah,
water.
keep it cleanse the inside, yeah?
That's it.
If you were to move to another country,
Yeah.
what would it be? I know we spoke about it before.
Probably Qatar, Saudi, or United Arab Emirates. One of those three.
Nice. And if you were to pick one?
For tax purposes, I'm going to say UAE. I don't know about the tax situations in Qatar and Saudi, but I know in UAE you're chilling.
It's favourable, yeah?
So I'm going to say that.
Favourite Netflix show if you do watch?
It's been a while. Prison Break. I liked Prison Break. That was entertaining.
And if there was no repercussions, and if there was nothing like stopping you from doing whatever you want, and if you could play a bad character, what would it be in this life? If you weren't doing what you're doing and you could choose whatever you want, and it could be as evil as it gets, what would it be? Which character would you play?
Prime Minister. I say that there's only 2 genders. I can ban all the stuff that needs to be banned. I think that's a good answer.
Nice. I like that. Brother Ish, thank you for making the time to come and join us on Side by Side podcast. And I hope to continue our conversation offline.
Inshallah. Thank you for having me so much. I appreciate it.
And that's it for today on Side by Side with myself, Kazi, Shafiqur, Rahman, and our guest, Ish Everything. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode of Side by Side. I for sure have learned so much, and I have been inspired by Brother Ismail. If you have enjoyed our today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and comment below with any guest recommendations or questions you may have. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.